Hi Ben, from Smart Homee.
Welcome.
How you doing?
I'm very good. I'm happy.
Good.
I've had a lovely day. I've had an exciting day.
Enjoyed yourself?
Yes.
Enjoyed lunch.
Shall I tell? Oh, banger, wasn't it?
Could eat that all day.
I know. So, I don't, because Mike won't do it on every open day. So I don't want to lull people into a false sense of security and come and be like, oh, we had a lovely time here, and there was a chef here, and then you lot come and it's like fish and chips, or it's the guy that comes around with the truck.
Just a couple of sandwiches.
Yeah,
Yeah, but don't, because we're giving away our secrets.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Just leave
all
that.
the other demo facilities, all the distributors will be like, Thai food, that's the winner.
Right, proper winner.
But it's been lovely, and I've got a secret.
Go on.
So I've known you boys for how long? Quite a long time.
Well,
14 years-ish.
yeah. Okay.
Something like that, I think.
Okay.
Today is my first time I've listened to any Cinema Room Impulse.
That's amazing.
I know, yeah.
Thanks for your support.
Everyone knows I love a chat. And unfortunately, sometimes the chat gets in the way of the actual doing.
How many times have you been here though?
3 or 4, which is
3 or 4.
even more worrying.
Okay, we might have to work on that one.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard. And if I'm honest, and most distributors will be watching this, I'm making myself like most distributors will be watching this.
Yeah.
I generally miss out on most of the demo rooms, and then I go around and tell everyone how good they are.
Well, not only that,
Liar.
you come in on other people's demos.
Oh yeah, it's not about them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not about
Sorry,
them.
I have
So
to remember that, don't I, when you're here?
yeah, that's it. But first time I've been here, and because no one turned up for the open day, I had loads of time to go around and do the actual rooms themselves.
Good.
And yeah.
How was it? Well,
Do you want a room by room breakdown? Would you want
go for it.
Go.
So, did you have a demo of the small? I know we're in
No.
transition. Right, media room. What
Media
was
room is okay. So I'm gonna give a general overview
Yeah.
of how I feel about Pulse. It's the only place that you can go to and feel like you can come away with ideas for your own projects, and not just have kit in front of you.
Definitely.
And there's nothing necessarily wrong with having kit in front of you to play with and to understand. But there's also something absolutely brilliant about coming into a space and being like, that looks really cool like that.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why that's been done like that. I understand why they've done the design like that, taking some inspiration from certain rooms, from certain spaces. The media room upstairs for me is that place that rarely you can do in the industry, where you can bring someone and show them like hidden stuff, hidden TV, hidden screens.
Yeah.
It's mega money stuff, and it's the only way that the client will justify spending that money, by seeing it in a tangible space where they feel comfortable. Feels like it might be their home, might not be their look, but they're gonna, everyone's got a sofa, everyone's got a coffee table, everyone's got a space that looks like their lounge. So being in there and watching those things come to life is a massive asset.
Just giving the clients the ideas. We want to put a projector up into the ceiling. We want to hire the TV. So they might come in and just go, oh, I thought it might have just been a projector on the ceiling, and that's it.
Yeah.
And white walls everywhere. So it's kind of I thought it was like one or the other. Whereas that was the one where we could show off sort of the best of both.
I think when you come into Pulse, you recognise that their USP is to show the aesthetic value, and the engineering is done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great line to use. Yeah. It is, because it's like the way that I deal with my own clients is that, forget about the screens and all the rest of it. We've got you. You don't necessarily buy a Ferrari or a supercar and start drilling down onto all the components of the engine. You just choose. You might have 1% of those clients that want that, but the majority of it is, what colour do I want?
Definitely.
What does it look like? What colour? What type of the seats and all the rest of it. And it is a great space, and very much like the metaphor that is a car showroom, to be able to feel it, see it, be a part of it. And for me personally, if you brought a client here, they wouldn't feel like you're going to an industrial unit when you walk into space, which is mega.
It does surprise a lot of people.
Of course it does, and it's nice.
And it's all about the journey as you walk through and everything else, trying to, make sure the client feels at home as best as possible.
Yeah.
And obviously with the kitchen area we have, obviously we don't sell kitchens, but it's a kitchen that they might have.
Exactly.
Just to let them feel at home again, so that they are then trusting of what you're about to install into their house.
Yeah.
So that's the idea behind it.
I think the other great thing from, and I'm not going to blow too much smoke up Pulse's rear side, but the balance, there's not many places where you can get a really good balance between two areas, and the understanding between two areas. So you can go to the media room and explain, this is the compromise.
Yeah.
And then come downstairs and be like, this is the big boy. But if you've got windows and you've got this and you want to have a room which is going to be lit most of the time and blah, 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 this is what we're shooting for. If you want wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Come on, I can show you both worlds. And I think it allows, we all know when we're sitting down with clients that there's usually two parties involved and they have to come to an agreement between the two of them. Yeah. And there's not many places that you can take a client to where they get the opportunity to experience everything and go away and probably make all those decisions.
Definitely. And that's the key, because you don't get a lot of time with clients, and to invite, rather than, we're going to come down to Stansted for some demos, I'm going to show you some cinema rooms.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, really? Whereas it's like, can I have one day of your time, and we want to go through all the specification of your equipment and in your house, and obviously this facility can do that for you.
Yeah, I think so. We've got a demo room. The problem with our demo room is if someone walks away from that and doesn't like it, there's no second chance. They don't, because we're brilliant. No, I'm joking. But if you, it's a red or black throw.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones that if you bring them here, even if they walk away from it and they're like, I like that part of this, I like this part of that, I like that part of that, you can walk away and you've already got them kind of somewhere near where you want them to be.
Definitely.
There's not going to be a place there. They might go into that cinema downstairs and be like, it's awful, I don't like the look of it, it's not my aesthetic, but there's a second chance, there's a third chance, there's multiple abilities to get them into spaces that they feel comfortable. It's the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And if you get it wrong, it's very difficult to claw back, because there's always a different dealer or there's someone else that can come in and do something slightly different and present it in a different way. So for me, now that I've actually sat and listened and been a part of it all, I get the whole picture.
Yeah.
I understand that it's not just about the products, it's not just about the brands, it's about the business, it's about the people behind the business, it's about the look, the aesthetic. You're shooting for the whole thing. It's been good.
Definitely. And I think it's always been about, this is what we're trying to strive towards, is that you're buying the client's buying a Pulse cinema.
Yeah.
And
it's the brand.
It's the brand. And
the brand is not
not
the speakers behind it. The black boxes, I like to call them.
The black boxes.
Yeah.
And now we're in our...
They're all the same black boxes. Do you know that? It's a really interesting thing. People do try to make it up like they've got better black boxes than other people's black boxes. Still the same black box. It is.
Yeah.
So they've maybe got bits different inside. Different little gremlins or little people inside to do different things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all the same stuff. It's true though. It's absolutely true. And no, look, it is. It's a cool place, and I get it. Cool. I think that's the thing, is that you've got to put some time and effort. And I always say this about anything in this industry. Go and spend. Don't moan about it that you're not doing cinemas or you can't sell to people or you're not meeting the right clientele. Go and experience it. And if you really want to fucking sell one of these, I guarantee you can.
Absolutely.
If I can, anyone can. I'm an idiot. I genuinely am. And I've sold loads of them. I don't know how. I really don't. But I love it.
Yeah.
And that's the bit. And the great thing is that I've got this.
And everything.
Yeah, I've got the support network around with me with brilliant people, not just yourselves, but other manufacturers and distributors that support me because I've put time into them.
Definitely.
And if you're not going to do it,
you're
never going to be able to sell it. Is it true?
True. Absolutely true. Yeah. And we're in our large cinema now, so you've had a demo of this one.
It's all right, isn't it?
What's your thoughts?
I mean, look, I think you can go into any room and pick some faults based upon aesthetic or
Sure.
look, or because it might be something that's not my thing. This is actually my aesthetic. Genuinely is. Not a massive fan of the lighting things, but I do get it. I get the look, the kind of...
Well, again, it goes back to, okay, here's something to think about. Just to put something else out there to say, there's not... If you wanted to go down this route, maybe that's a stretched fabric route, whether that's just no acoustics at all. It might, but here's another option to have a think about.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the idea.
Like I say, from an aesthetic point of view, it's my thing. Like, I like a lighter cinema. I like something that doesn't feel too dark and imposing and doesn't feel like it has that wife or that partner kind of, punch to it. That's what I always worry sometimes, is that we make these horrifically dark cinema rooms. Like, you never want to look at each other. Like, your beautiful face I get to see it properly. And that's what we want. We want to spend time with the people we love in a room that we can see each other and experience, and it's an experience to have. So the aesthetic is about there for me, and it is an interesting one because you're still seeing... Like, we're seeing better rooms being built in demonstration facilities, and I know there's a couple going on at the moment, because exactly what we were talking about in our podcast is that I think there's a change in terms of dynamic.
Definitely a change. Definitely, I guess there's more access to better lighting and all sorts of things, rather than just having, we've got a bit of lighting here and around the back and all that kind of stuff. Actually, people are thinking about their rooms a lot more.
They were always trying to light a space for like a brief period of time and not making it into a space where it can be something else. Mm-hmm. And you can have a room that interacts with you and I always think with a cinema room, and I like to call like experience rooms, because forget about the cinema part, because I don't want to go down that, I won't go too far into it, the grumpy engineering side of it. But when you call them experience rooms, it gives you the ability to say what the client wants and deliver it from an engineering perspective.
Yeah.
And if that means it's 2-channel audio because they love sport and they want the biggest screen in the whole world, it doesn't work at all for, 25 seats behind them all stacked up to the wall, then fine.
Definitely.
And I think people, distributors and manufacturers are working their rooms towards that model now of how do we have the balance between something that sounds phenomenal, but, looks and makes you feel like it's a theatrical experience. It's coming into a space and being like, it's the Ferrari, this is my, I want to show you my garage because this is my Ferrari, or this is my E-Type Jag, and this is my so-and-so. I don't want to open a room and be like, this is my dark room. What's that for? It's a cinema. You can only experience it when I turn it on. I want to open a room and be like, look how cool that is.
Absolutely. And you always...
Obviously, I'll shut it because I don't want to go in it.
And always have a look at the, a room of the smaller room, kind of the worst, really. But, all of these rooms have 100 problems.
Yep.
And it's how we fix those problems and what tools do we have, whether that's... And how much money that we have to be able to fix those problems. And it might be that a client, we can say, well, we can get to, like... 70, fix 70 of those 100 problems, and they might say, well, okay, great, what does that look like? Well, this, and they don't like the look of that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can, if you don't like that, maybe I can fix 60 problems, but it looks like this. They go, yeah, I'm happy with that. So
compromise,
all the compromises.
That's
and then and obviously with budget, with everything. So I think
you treat a design of a cinema room or an experience room like you treat a marriage. Is that there's got to be compromise. There's got to be a balance between what you're building together, as in the relationship, or whether it's the room, and it's got to be something that you're doing in one direction as a couple, and that would be me and the client building a cinema room together. Not this is my view, this is my way of doing things, and if you don't want it, which is, if people want to have that marriage, Fine. And it will work for certain people. There's certain clients out there that need steering down the route. There's that one teeny tiny percent. But I'm not interested in that market. I genuinely want to work with clients, and I want to build a relationship with them. I want to build a marriage with them, and I want to build them their room that we can both walk away from and be like, that's cool.
Yeah.
This room is like that.
Yeah.
You know, like the Alcon stuff in here is super tight. It's been a long time since I sat in a room, and the balance has been there. There you felt like aesthetically it's nice, audio is nice, the video is nice, like everything is at a level where it absolutely should be for the value of the money that you're in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's frustrating when you go somewhere and it's like, but...
And the pressure's always on with these rooms, because I think, a lot of people really like our media room because they go in there, sit down and they're like, what we're gonna play, and they're almost expecting just a little sound bar or something a bit average, and then obviously it comes out and you're like, whoa, okay. Whereas a room like this, it's like, all right, guys, come on then, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got.
Your expectations are you're sitting in a Ferrari here.
Yeah.
So you're expecting it to go fast.
Yeah.
It's going to be loud. It's a really difficult one to be. The surprise it. I tell you what, the upstairs is. The upstairs is a Tesla.
Right,
you sit in it, and you're this is like a family car. It's an SUV. It feels comfortable, and then you put the foot on the accelerator. You're like, oh fucking hell, this goes like nuts. Like,
yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that it is upstairs. But then that's the great thing you've got. You've got the balance. You've got the balance to be able to go from a Tesla that can still go fast and still do all the things. Maybe not have the wow factor of a Ferrari, but still do the things that you want it to do and surprise you when you want it to surprise you.
Definitely.
And then you can come down here and be like, there you go, there's my big boy. Definitely. Off you pop, go and sit in that and be surprised.
And that's the key. And does it meet your expectations? Do you?
Absolutely. Like I say, the audio's super tight in here. Like super tight.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting. And I'll put my reputation on for other people to come in here and not say that it's up there. It's good. It's good. And there's a lot of hard work and effort that's gone into it. And I wouldn't sit here and blow smoke up your ass if I thought like something wasn't quite right. I would say it.
Definitely. And people clearly have their own tastes.
Yeah.
So it's a case of trying to deliver the fundamentals, and then if you're then you might want to tweak it certain ways, but that can easily be done. But if obviously you're missing the main elements of it, fundamentals, then obviously then there's the problem. So
if you lose them in the first 10 seconds, you've lost them, haven't you? There's no real clawing back that moment. The room, and I think last time I was here, I think you'd finished it, but you were like, no, I don't really want anyone in. Yeah, and I get it.
Yeah,
because you don't want to have an experience. You don't want to get in a Ferrari and put your foot on the accelerator, and it's like, it's not working in that gear. Just use third.
No, we spent a lot of time calibrating, and it was really interesting for me to see the magicians at work.
Yeah.
And
did you have all the big boys?
I had all the big boys in.
Did you? They're like the real adults that can do
something like that. No, I've calibrated a fair few, but as a distributor, and it's not our speciality, we tend to try and get the best out of the tools that are available on the particular processors.
Yeah.
Majority of that is really their auto running calibration tools, and then listening to it and going, okay. And we did find that there were a few issues in this when we first put the processor in, and but obviously we are running a trim-off in here, and we were able to fix those with the tools that were there. And I think that's again another key point of why you would aim to go in one direction over another.
I think it's a good thing from you as a distributor as well, because it's a real honest thing to say, is that it's not that your products couldn't do it, it's that if there's a better product out there, you are quite happy to say, let's bring that in, because we want to deliver the best in this room. And it's only fair for these speakers, and it's only fair for these.
Well, if you're going to operate at a certain level, you've got to get the big boys in, haven't you? And obviously, even taking advantage of the audio formats.
Yeah.
There is a point where a lot go up to, and then you need to bring in the big guns to gain access to those additional channels and everything else. So, you know, that's what we needed to do, and I think the result is phenomenal.
You're happy with it?
I'm very happy with it.
You
Absolutely.
have to be happy with it.
Well, I do.